Rotten Redheaded Older Brother by Patricia Polacco.
Narrator 2.
Trisha.
Narrator 3.
Mama. Richard.
Narrator 1.
Narrator 1 and Gramps.
My brother and our mother and I all lived with my grandparents on their farm in Union City, Michigan. Now my babushka, my grandmother, knew lots of things. She knew just how to tell a good story. She knew how to make the best chocolate cake in Michigan. After she told my brother and me a grandpa from her homeland, we'd always ask,
Bobby, is that true?
Of course it's true. That may not have happened. But she loved. Now I knew that she loved me all right, but I couldn't quite understand how she could even like my older brother, Richard. He had orange hair that was like wire. He was covered in freckles, and he looked like a weasel with glasses.
The one thing that my Bubby didn't seem to know was how perfectly awful my brother really was. Mind you, he was always nice whenever she was around us, but as soon as she'd leave, he would do something terrible to me and laugh.
There were so many things that I couldn't stand about him. The worst was that he was always telling me he could do just about everything better than I.
Bet I can pick my blackberries and you can.
He jeered at me one day. No, you can't.
Can so.
Can't.
Can.
He whispered. Not. I said louder.
Can.
He whispered so low that I could hardly hear him. Not. I screamed back.
we both picked berries for most of the afternoon. Well, he up and did it. He not only picked more berries than I, he set a record that wasn't even challenged for the next 10 years.
You make me sick, Richard Barber. I yelled at him. Then he smiled that only rotten, red-headed older brother could smile.
I guess I would have to face it. He could run the fastest, climb the highest, go the farthest, sit the longest, get the dirtiest, burp the loudest, and spit the farthest. He had no equal. Certainly not me.
And I'm 4 years older than you always have been and always will be.
He sneered.
There had to be something I could do that he couldn't. Then inspired that comfortably like a fresh breeze on a hot summer day.
Oh, Rickard. Richie.
I cooed as I stood next to the rhubarb cushions. Do you like rhubarb?
No.
He said.
It's the sourest stuff on this planet.
Now I knew at long last I had him.
But I can eat more raw rhubarb than you can, ducking the puckers.
I challenged.
I don't think so.
I do. I insist.
Don't.
He hissed, looking smug.
Do.
I said furiously as I grabbed the first stalk and started chewing it almost down to the root.
When I couldn't get one more sour bite into my mouth, he was still eating with relish.
I thought you said you don't like rhubarb. I said it.
I don't like it. I love it.
He announced as he popped the last stalk into his mouth. I was so bad I couldn't even feel how my belly was starting to ache.
I can't stand you, Richard Butler. I double dare can't stand you. I screamed as I went into the house to be consoled. But wait, what? Oh.
I screamed as I went into the house to be consoled by my grandmother.
Yeah, and I'm 4 years older than you two, you little twerp. Always have been and always will be.
He called after me. Then he laughed, that rotten, red-headed older brother laugh. That night at dinner, I could hardly eat. Have you been eating angry apples again, child?
Bubby asked as she sliced me a huge wedge of rhubarb pie.
I baked your favorite. Richie gave me one of his extra rotten weasel-eyed greeny tooth grin.
At bedtime, my Bubby came and sat at the edge of my bed like she did every night.
Look, a flying star.
She said.
He watched it swoop across the sky, then she spit twice into my fingers and gave her chest a loud slap.
Why did you do that, Bubby?
I asked.
I was making a wish. Didn't you know that wishes on falling stars come true?
At last I knew how I was going to get back my brother. For the longest time I watched the sky, dark sky, until I saw a star shoot across the night. Then I spit between my two fingers and slapped my chest. It was done. My wish was to do anything better than my brother. I'll show him.
The next morning, all I could think about was my wish. I was thinking about it so hard I almost didn't notice the wagons and trucks pulling into the field down the road near Four Corners.
A traveling carnival. My brother shouted as he ran toward me. They're setting up right here in our field, but I can eat more hot dogs than you can. He teased.
He was already starting it, but this time I was going to do something so incredible that even he would have to sit up and take a notice. I had a star wish. I'd show my rotten redheaded older brother all right.
That night I ran straight for the merry-go-round. He must have taken 50 turns in that carousel. But then my brother got off. I stayed on. I went around and around and around.
I knew I could do this longer than you.
I shouted to my brother, feeling proud, but just a little bit dizzy.
Reza!
I heard my Bubby call out.
Get out the thing, it's time to come home.
The last thing I remember was stepping off from that platform. Next thing I knew, I woke up with Bubby sitting on the edge of my bed. Mom and Grandpa were there too.
You gave us a fright.
Mama said.
How do you feel?
What happened? I asked.
You fell. My rotten redheaded older brother announced with the biggest grin on his face. I don't know what we would have done.
My Bubby said softly.
Your brother carried you all the way home, and then you ran to get Dr. Lee. You had to have stitches. I watched it all. He said excitedly.
You fell off the merry-go-round, went into some pop bottles.
My gramps said.
You even passed out. My brother chirped. Looks like you finally did something special.
It was that lesson made me want to relationship change something.
I said to him. What's a big brother for anyway? He said, blushing.
That night, we were all out in the yard. On the hot Michigan nights, it was my family's custom to sleep outside where it was cool.
Look at those stars.
Bubby said quietly.
Wishes are funny, aren't they? I said.
Sometimes they come true differently than you think they will. That's why you have to be very careful what you wish for. They just may come true.
Bubby said.
Then she squeezed both of her hands.
Into the grass.
She whispered.
Why, Bub? My brother asked. Because if we don't, we'll float up to the stars.
Then she leaned over and kissed us both 3 times.
That's right. And both of your words in for keeping listening. Thank God. Walk this earth with both you and me.
Then we all just lay on our blankets in the gentle summer night.
I'll always be 4 years older than you, though. My brother whispered softly.
Then he smiled and all of us held one another's hands and then we all drifted off to sleep.